strong. We gon' change the world.
Hey beautiful souls, welcome back to 33 and Free. I'm Vanessa, your host. Guys, it's been a while. It's been like 2 weeks. Sorry for the absence. Honestly, I was going through it in life. But you know what? No weapons that are formed against me shall prosper. So we're back. But yes, no, God just put something on my heart that I really just wanted to share with you guys. And so, yeah, just like navigating this space, navigating this season. But yeah, today, what I really want us to reflect on is something that often goes unnoticed, and it's our unseen influence. So it's like, we may not be in the spotlight. We may not have like this huge platform, but God is using us right where we are. And he's using us to impact people in ways like that are never seen. And they might never be seen, but they're impacting people. And so the scripture is in Matthew 5, 14 to 16, where Jesus tells us that we're the light of the world. And so we're just going to dive into that and what that really means, and how you can like live with this quiet confidence, knowing that your influence matters. So yes, before we get into it too far, how did this come about? So basically, just to be transparent, guys, I feel like we're friends. Like, I could be honest, I could be open. I was just feeling a lot, obviously, like the first ever, like 33 and Free podcast episode, like it started from a place of me struggling. And so, of course, on the journey of self-discovery and reflection, I'm gonna find more struggles. And so that's essentially what happened. I just got to a point where I was kind of like hitting a bit of a wall, and I was like, God, what's happening? Why is this happening? And I was like, okay, what's the lesson? What is God trying to teach me? What is he trying to produce in me? Because at points I felt like I'm being told to like propel forward, but I'm like, no, I feel like God is telling me to like wait. So then I was like, what do I do? And whenever I feel confused, I just go back to the Bible, and I'm just like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? And a great friend, shout out to Arisha. She actually, we had a really like great conversation, and she was just like, Vanessa, you just need to study out Esther. She was like, yeah, I was experiencing the same stuff, and like, yeah, you're just in your Esther season. And I was like, oh, like, and this is like the third time someone has told me about Esther, and the number 3 is special, especially biblically. And so I was just like, okay, who am I to ignore this, this prompt from the Holy Spirit? And so, so that's what I've been doing. Literally, I am doing this like Esther, like devotional, that shout out to ChatGPT, help me out. But yeah, I've been doing that. And so today, like this kind of devotional day, it was like, looking at the unseen influence. And so that's what I was kind of looking at. And so, yeah, because Esther, she has this influence that like, she was able to influence the people to fast for 3 days. She even had influence on the king for him to have like favor on her. And so it's just like, wow. And then we like, we can do the same thing, to be honest. So yes, that's a little bit of a backstory as to how we got to where we got to. But yes, so let's get into it. So the scripture, so Matthew 5, 14 to 16. So it says, you are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. So, you are the light of the world. Do you believe that? You don't need to listen. Jesus, he didn't say try to be the light. He said you are the light. You are the light regardless. If you are a follower of Christ, if you are a disciple, you are the light, whether you want to be or you don't. That's, what can I say? You're the light. And so that means that your very presence carries impact when you walk with Christ. When you're not walking with Christ, to God be all the glory. But no, when you're walking with Christ, yes, your presence, it carries impact. And so it's like just you being a follower, like you're already like, you're separating yourself from like the world and the world standards. And so already people are like, wait a minute, what is this? What is going on? There's like a peace, there's a joy that comes from being, a follower of Christ and like actually living the Bible out in your life. Then the next part, right? So it talks about a town on a hill cannot be hidden. And so it's like, people are like watching you. They're watching like your quiet strength. They're watching your faith in hard times. They're watching your kindness when no one else is looking. I know this for a fact because, guys, when I was struggling, people were like, yeah, you're so resilient. Wow, it's so inspiring seeing how you persevere through trials. It helps my faith to persevere through trials because I see you showing up even though you're struggling. And I'm the type of person, like, my heart is on my face. Like, whatever is in my heart, whatever I'm feeling, whatever conflicts that I'm having with the Lord sometimes, like, it shows on my face. And so instantly people are like, oh no, what's happening? Vanessa, what's wrong? You're not okay. But even with that being said, I should still show up. Not gonna lie, there's times where I'm like, I don't want to show up. Like, literally, I was wrestling. I was like, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to see anybody. I just want to be in this cave. But shout out to spiritual friends who like call you out and are like, come be with me. It's okay. I'll sit with you. And so, yeah, but people are watching that. They're watching not just when you're strong, when you're doing really great, but people are watching when you're not doing great. They're watching like, how do you handle trials? You know, how do you handle hard times? Because every day is not sunshine and rainbows. You know, sometimes there's hard times and people are looking at that. So the next part, right, talked about let your light shine before others. So this isn't about being like loud and being like all up in everybody's face. No, but it's about just being intentional, right? You don't need to be like on a stage to shine sometimes. Like, the most powerful influences happen in silence. And I love this. And I think about, like, when you think about lights, for example, there's so many different types of lights, right? You have the overhead lights. Sometimes the overhead lights, they're a bit too much. It's like, oh, but then you have like the nice, like warming, like dim light, like sets the mood, chill vibes. Then you have the kind of like kind of like rave lights, like colorful lights, you know, that kind of vibe. So there's the different types of lights, dimmer lights, everything. And so it's like, not everybody needs to be this big massive spotlight. That's fine, it's okay. And sometimes people don't like that because it's like, you can't look at it, you have to close your eyes, you're like, I can't look directly at the light. But then the kind of like, you know, chill lights, you're like, oh, this is nice, I want to be in the presence of this light, right? Sorry about the detour into different types of lights, but you get the point that I'm getting across. And so it's just like, when you let your light shine, you want to be intentional about it. You know, what are you doing? Where are you going? Right? So now we want to think about like kind of the unseen places of the influence that we carry. So I want you to like think about the different spaces that you move through like every day, right? Whether it be your job, at home, online spaces. What are your DMs looking like? You know, what are your private conversations looking like? What about maybe that one friend that you just keep checking in on, right? There are times where you may feel like overlooked. You may feel like, oh, my efforts are wasted. Like, I'm posting and nobody's listening, you know, like, and I could fall into that trap because I'm like, oh, like, I only have this many listens on my podcast episode. But it's like, even if just one person listens to it, that's already influencing, you know. And I'm getting like encouraging messages from people and they're like, I listened to your podcast, it was so inspiring. Oh, it really helped me. I was really struggling, and then I listened to you reading out Joshua 1:9. And so it's just like those kind of things. And so even though there's not a massive audience, there isn't a massive following, like, the spaces that God has allowed you to be in, you're having influence. Like, even at your job, like, people are thinking like, how is this person always smiling all the time? And they want to know, like, what's up with you? And you're like, yeah, you know, I'm a disciple, I'm a follower of Christ. Like, I have quiet times, I pray, I do Bible studies. You know, my focus is around my relationship with God. Even at home, it's like, you know, whether you live with like friends or you live with other believers or you live with your parents, it's like you're influencing the home space as well. And especially online, like, just 50 people watching something, that's a lot of people already. Like, when you think, if you put like 50 people in a room, that's a lot. Like, some people are like, oh, I only got 300 views on this post. If you put 300 people in a room, that's a lot of people. Like, but because it's like online, we kind of diminish it, and we're like, oh, like, even like, it's like, oh, this post didn't go viral, like, it only had 1,000 views. Put 1,000 people in a room. Like, whatever room you're in right now, imagine there's 1,000 people in that room. It's cramped, isn't it? right? That's a lot of people. And so it's like, we don't want to like despise the small beginnings, but we also want to see like, wow, we're having, even if you're just influencing one person, like you're having impact. So this is like, yeah, don't let this be overlooked. Like your obedience, your consistency is never wasted. And so it's like, this is just to encourage you, like, keep doing it. All right, so now, how do we shine where we are? Because obviously, well, not everybody. Some people, yes, want to have a big following, have a big platform, want to influence millions of people, right? But just where you are right now is fine. So it's like, whether you have a big crowd of people, you have a small crowd of people, it's like, first you want to be intentional in just like the small acts of love. And so that's like the people that you already have in your circle, like encouraging them daily, like sending a little message when you see people, smiling at them, praying for people, like saying like, hey, can I pray for you? Do you have any prayer requests? Right? Like stuff like that. And like that's where you're like shining in dark places, because people are going through things, and so you just doing that is already helping them already. Then you want to stay faithful even when it feels unseen, right? So the times where you're like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm being obedient, I'm having faith, I'm praying, but I'm not seeing movement. Keep doing it, because someone is watching you. Someone's watching you. Like, how do you deal with like the chaos? You know, what's the peace that you carry when everything is falling apart? When you lose your job? When, you know, someone passes away? When, you know, something really devastating happens, something discouraging happens? Like, yeah, people are looking like, oh, how does this, is this person level-headed, or is this person like rash and they're just gonna like jump off the deep end? Like, people are watching. And so it's like, stay faithful even when you feel like no one is watching you. Someone is always watching you. And even if no, God is always watching, so you're never alone. Then we also want to speak light over other people. So we want to call out the good that we see in people. You know, we want to affirm them, we want to build them up. Obviously, yes, we want to help people too. So like, obviously constructive criticism, but it's like, from my experience, what I've learned is like, when you're just constantly criticizing people don't want to speak to you, and they don't want to hear what you have to say. They're just like, you never have a good word to say about me. All you ever say is negative, right? And so it's like, you really want to build people. You want to do like a positive, negative, positive sandwich. We had women's service yesterday, and Michelle Williamson, she was talking about like the positive, negative, positive sandwich. And it's so true. Like, I'm the same. Like, listen, if you need to tell me something that's not great, tell me something good. Tell me the bad thing. Let me know as well that you're about to tell me something that might hurt my feelings. And then end on a positive note too, because then I'm like, okay. Because if not, I'm like, I have to fight my thoughts, guys. The negative spiral is so real. And so if somebody's just coming and they're just throwing negativity at me, I'm like, hey, my brain does that for free, like already, like unprompted. I don't now need somebody else to come and do that as well. And so it's like, yeah, this is how we can really help, you know, especially if we're like, you know, if we're trying to embody the identity of Christ. Even he did that. If you read John 4, his conversation with the Samaritan woman, which was touched on yesterday, it's like, yeah, he said something, it started positive, then he said, you know, the truth, and it hurt a little bit, and then he ended on a positive. So it's like, that's positive, negative, positive sandwich. Amazing. Now, lastly, what you also want to do, you want to keep showing up, right? Show up, even when no one is clapping for you. Keep showing up in faith, because God always sees you. It's okay. I know sometimes we're like, I want to be seen. And then we get seen, and then we're like, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to. So me and my sister, we had a conversation one time, and I was talking about like how, like, I want to be known, but I don't want to be like perceived. I don't want to be seen like in that way. And it's like, what does that even mean, really? I don't want to be perceived. But it's more like we want to be able to control like how and when people see us, but you can't really. But anyways, regardless of that, just keep showing up, right? Even if you get 1 like, you get 0 likes, people are still looking. Even if people aren't engaging with your stuff, people are looking at you. Even if people, like, they're looking. And it's so crazy. Like, what I realized as well is like, there is like, especially if you're in the creative field, right? we want to be in like the spaces, we want to be in the rooms, we want to have conversation, we want to be with these directors, these actors, or like these art influencers, like wherever it is that we want to be, right? We want to be in these spaces. But what we don't realize is that our influence is what's going to get us into that space. But even if we're not physically in that space, there are like, right now, guys, there are rooms where your name is in that room. And you're not physically in the room, but your name is, because that's the level of influence you have. That's the level of impact that you have. Now, I don't know what the people are saying about you in the rooms. I don't know if they're good things or if they're bad things. Yeah. I mean, look at Jesus, right? Jesus was a great man, amazing man, perfect man. And the crowds was divided about him. Some people were like, he's demon possessed. And others were like, I don't think a demon would like do that. Right? And so it's like, you can't necessarily control what people are going to say about you. You can control yourself and your actions. And so, yeah, there's some spaces and people are saying terrible things about you right now. You're not in that room, but people are talking about you, and maybe they're gossiping about you, maybe they're slandering you, who knows? But then there's other rooms and people they're singing your praises and they're saying great things about you. But don't let what the people are saying and what the crowd is saying stop you from being who God has called you to be. Still be that person. Even if you're confronted by the slanderers and the gossipers, still keep showing up like the person that God has called you to be. Because you shouldn't let somebody else diminish your light, because the light is going to do like two things, right? Like it's going to attract or it's going to blind, right? And so it's like, it's going to attract the people that want to be in the light. But for the people that don't want to be in the light, they're going to hate it. They're going to like despise it because they want to be in the darkness. And so it's like those people that are like saying the terrible things about you, like that says more about themselves than it does about you. And so it's like, just have peace. Don't even think about that stuff. But just the fact that the people that don't like you are talking about you, that's how much influence you. Like they're so pressed like by your influence that they have to speak about you, even if it's in a negative way. Because it's like, if you weren't having influence, if you weren't having impact, your name wouldn't even come up. That's my 2 cents anyways. And so show up, my friends, please keep showing up. And so just to think about like the heart, right? Think about, okay, where might you be influencing without even realizing, right? Maybe there's a coworker and they see your patience. Maybe there's a younger sibling and they just notice like you're really disciplined. Like all of a sudden they're like, oh, what's going on? Or you have a friend and they've never told you, but like they always feel safe around you. They just like being around, because sometimes you have a friend and you're like, oh, we always hang out all the time. And it's like, yeah, they just like being around you because you're a safe person. And the list goes on, right? And so just because it's not posted about, it doesn't mean it's not powerful. Just because somebody isn't like, writing a whole, I don't know, speech about you or whatever, it doesn't mean like you're like what you're doing is like pointless. And God sees the unseen and he magnifies it, right? Like sometimes he like allows us to be hidden. He allows us to do hidden tasks and stuff like that. And then randomly you'll get a shout out. Randomly someone will know, someone will say something on your birthday. You'll be like, wow, all these people are like, yeah, you impacted me and you did all of this stuff. And you're like, oh wow, I had no idea. Because usually people like, they save that stuff for like special occasions and stuff like that. But what we really should be doing is doing that more often. But that's a story for another day. Like we'll get into that another time. But yes, I don't want this to be too long. But I'm glad to be back. I think just like posting wise, I'm going to try and do at least like 1 week minimum. One day a week minimum. Because I go back to work. I have a job. Amazing. So I start work next week, Tuesday. Going back to working in the school. So that's going to be fun. Love the children. And so obviously posting Monday to Friday was an ambitious time when I had lots of free time. But we're going into full-time work again. So we're like, yeah. And I want to be intentional, right? Unseen influence. That's what I want to do. So I'm enjoying the small audience. I get to make mistakes and blah, 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 blah. But yes, anyways, I'm rambling. So we're going to bring this to a close. If this encouraged you today, I want you to pause and thank God for the influence you may not even realize you have. And remember this, you don't have to be famous to be faithful. You don't have to be loud to be a light. Just be you and God will do the rest. So I'll see you next time on 33 and Free. Stay faithful, stay focused, stay free. Peace, love, and happiness.
Rise up and fall down. It's alright. Just be strong. Your provider, and I'm strong. We